So in this segment, I want to discuss Sunak lying to the mother of a victim of a horrific crime here. She feels like she's been misled, and this was a big story at the time, and I think it's worth covering anyway. It's just so you can get a measure of the Prime Minister of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Mother of a terror attack victim there, saying she feels misled by the Prime Minister over a law named after her son designed to protect people from terrorism. Did your party leader mislead Figan Murray, Kevin?
Well, I think this is a terrible case, and clearly we want to try and help where we can. And if this legislation is the right thing to do, then we should do it. As Ms. Murray said, the Prime Minister in a difficult situation at that point in time, making an announcement on a few hours later.
He wasn't in a difficult situation. He put himself in that situation. He made that person a promise, and he should have followed through on that promise. This stuff should have been done. I think the mother of the victim was pushing with this legislation for a while. This should have been done a while ago, to be honest with you. He lied to her face. He lied to her face that this legislation will get passed.
Which you can't obviously divulge to anybody else in this situation.
But you don't deceive the mother of a victim of a terror attack. You don't look her in the eye and say, I promise I will do this, unless you mean it and you will, do you?
Well, if he has the ability to do that beyond the 5th of July, if we're elected to run this country, I am sure that this will be introduced.
But he made...
This is so ugly, saying like, well, I'm sure if we're re-elected, we will pass this legislation. I know he made a promise. He made a promise to a person that he would get this passed, and he decided not to do it. He lied to her face about this. And the fact that this hasn't actually continued in the news cycle is absolutely horrific, because this is the measure of a person here. What kind of person lies to the mother of a victim of a horrific crime? What kind of person would do that? Is that the kind of person you want in charge of your country? That's the media. And if I was doing interviews, I'd say, what kind of person were you to lie to the mother of a victim? And I'll compare it to when Boris Johnson got that, gave the details of a journalist who was, threatened effectively. I'll go back to that and be like, you might be slicker than him, you might run a better campaign than him, but you're just as big a liar as that man. That's the way I would frame it. That's the way I'd run it, because he lied to someone he should never have lied to. The victim, the mother of a victim of a horrific crime. In the Manchester Arena bomb, Manchester Arena bomb victim's mother. That's who he lied to.
To her promise that he knew full well when he made it that he might not be in a position to keep.
Well, as I say, I'm sure if we win this election, he's in the position to do that. He's a man of his word, in my experience.
He's not a man of his word. He literally isn't. Like, he's lied so much over the last couple of years. He's fumbled so hard over things like inflation. This is a complete bogus. You cannot be, regardless of the body of work you have, when you tell a lie like this, your body of work goes completely out the window. You are untrustworthy. Your word is meaningless. It's worth nothing. It's garbage.
Kevin, come on, that's a terrible look. That is a terrible look for a Prime Minister. To look the mother of...
Not just a Prime Minister for a party. This Tory MP, Kevin Hollinrake, imagine trying to defend this.
Martin Hett in the eye and say, I promise you, when he knew, as he made that promise, he might not be able to deliver on it. That is a terrible look.
Well, you can interpret it that way, Tom. That's up to you.
No. People will interpret it how they want to interpret it, and the way I think most people would see this is a horrific lie to tell someone, because he called the election on that day, so there was no chance for that legislation to be passed. He knew it was never going to pass, but he looked a person in the eye and lied to them.
And it didn't sound to me, from Ms. Murray, that she was interpreting the way that you are, but nevertheless,
she says she feels misled.
I'm sure I'm sure she also said the Prime Minister was in a very difficult position.
Sure.
So
he put himself in that position, though. He didn't have to call an election. He didn't. He decided to call it. He could have tried to push this legislation first. He could have tried to get the ball rolling on it. He could have done more than this, I think. And he chose not to. He lied to this person. Let's be honest. He lied.
Well, I think she clearly understands the difficult position. I understand the difficult position. I think probably you will understand the difficult position.
No. He chose to call an election. There's no defence of it.
Position he was in as well. But I'm sure that if we get elected on the 4th of July, I'm sure he'll make good on that promise.
He won't, though, because it was meant to be before. I think it was meant to be before the election that he was meant to do it, and he's not done it. He misled. He's misled her. Whoops, shook my whole computer. He misled her. That's the truth of it. Tory MPs can spin it how they want, but this is something that I would push on if I were Labour. I would say that how can you trust the person who does this, especially when they talk about the pledges being broken? I'd say Sunak looks someone in the eye, and he broke his promise to her. That's a person that's untrustworthy. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.